Repulsive.
Welcome to your station 1999K Radio, where the dead speak. Good evening, Nightwalkers, YouTube explorers, and radio listeners. Welcome back to 1999K Radio. My name is Sebastian, and tonight I'll be your host. Thank you for being here for a new broadcast of this, your midnight show. Today we have a great show for you guys. This evening, February 26th, 2024, we begin transmission. Tell me, how was your week? This week I revisited Frailty from 2001, directed by the brilliant Bill Paxton, who also plays the father of this family. If you haven't seen this movie, I highly recommend it. I'll leave the trailer of the movie in the description in case you want to give it a look. I also watched Death Parade from 2015. This is a first time for me. It's an anime that, while not strictly is horror related, it deals with a lot of symbolisms from the Underworld. It's only 2 episodes long and definitely worth watching. I'll leave the pilot episode for you to check it out. If you're interested, I think it's a pretty interesting one. Now, let's quickly go through the birthdays of this week. On February 19th, 1999, we saw the release of the fantastic film 8mm, starring Nicolas Cage. I really love this movie, and I think it's very well worth watching. Also, on the same date, but in 1982, The Swamp Thing was released. On February 20th, 1926, in New Jersey, the writer Richard Matheson was born, best known for his novel I Am Legend, which has been adapted into film 3 times. Happy birthday, Richard Matheson. On February 21st, but in 1986, we saw the release of The Hitcher, a very good tense horror film that is based in Stephen King's novel. On February 22nd, 1990, the continuation of a saga inspired by an H.P. Lovecraft story, Bride of Reanimator, hit theaters. On February 23rd, but in 1999, a true horror gem was born. Silent Hill for PlayStation. I can confidently say that the existence of this game greatly influenced me, and it's one of the reasons on why I'm here doing these shows. So happy birthday, Silent Hill. Also, in 1974, the great anthology From Beyond the Grave was released in cinemas. On February 24th, but 2022, the film Occhiali Neri, Black Glasses, directed by Dario Argento, was released in Italy. And finally, but definitely not less important, on February 25th, 2005, the film Cursed, starring Christina Ricci and directed by Wes Craven, was released. Very well, now let's move on to the main topic of this episode. I know, this journey has been tumultuous and long, but we're nearly in its end, and this time, the journey will be calmer. We will start with the 5th part of our journey into the underworlds and their gods. And we're gonna start in a very ancient area full of legends and history, the ancient Mesopotamia. Today, the countries that compose that region are Iran, Iraq, Turkey, Syria, and Kurdistan. In Mesopotamia, particularly among the Babylons, the Sumerians, and the Assyrians, people venerated God Nergal. Nergal was associated with war, death, plagues, and the underworld. Like other underworld gods, he was the judge of souls. He is depicted as a fearsome and aggressive warrior god. Responsible for plagues and pestilence, Nergal nature reflects the harsh realities of life and death. that all of us go through. The underworld for the Mesopotamians is known as the land of no return, or Kur. Kur is described as a dark and deep realm beneath the earth. When one dies, they begin their journey through the Kur. You will arrive at the entrance, where you will encounter the guards of the gates of Kur. The first guard is Namtaru. He is depicted as a demon or a god of death, and the guardian of the underworld, preventing any living beings from entering unless they're dead. The second guardian is Ushungal, the great serpent. He protects the underworld from any intruders. Sometimes he is depicted as a great serpent and other times as a dragon. You will have to cross the river of the underworld, also known as the river of the dead. This river serves as the boundary between the living and the dead. Once inside, you'll be judged by the 7 judges of Kur. Your judges will be the first one, Anu, who is king of the sky gods. He represents divinity and justice. Your second judge is Enlil, king associated with the air, the storms, and earth. He represents power and sovereignty. Your third judge will be Enki, also known as Ea, god of knowledge, magic, and fresh water. Represents knowledge and understanding. He evaluates the actions of the deceased. Your fourth judge will be Nergal, god of the underworld and god of war and destruction. He is in charge of punishment and transformation. Your fifth judge, Ninasu, is the god related to healing and the river of the dead. During the trial, he represents transition, purification, and rebirth. The sixth judge is Ereshkigal, the queen of the underworld. During the trial, she represents the principles of justice and authority. And finally, but not less important, the seventh judge will be Alataun, or Dumuzi, goddess of the underworld, usually associated with shepherds and fertility. She represents fertility, renewal, and the cycle of life and death. Once judged, your sentence could be the reincarnation, ascending to one of the 5 heavens, or becoming condemned to one of the 6 eternal punishments. It's curious to think that, unlike in other religions, in Mesopotamia, there were multiple paradises to go to. So, let's explore them. The first paradise is Dilmun, a garden of abundance, peace and fertility, where the righteous can enjoy the ideal life. The second one, it's Fields of the Blessed. This place is filled with vast fields where the deceased can live in harmony with nature. The third one are the Elysian Fields, a place for those who live a virtuous life, where you are always accompanied by blessings and the divine. The fourth one, it's the Dwelling of the Gods, where you can share your existence with the gods, hold a rank, and participate in divine rituals and activities for eternity. The fifth paradise, Reunion with the Ancestors, where you can reunite with your ancestors and loved ones to continue your existence together. But if your actions were evil and selfish, your punishments will be the next ones. The first eternal punishment is physical torture. You could be condemned to be burned, cut, or tortured for eternity. The second one, it's imprisonment. You could be locked in a cage or a dark cave, a claustrophobic hole, or bound with chains. The third one, it's isolation. In this punishment, you are sent to a place where you will be alone forever, with no chance of seeing anyone again. The fourth one is shame and humiliation. You will be publicly exposed for your sins or made to face all the repercussions of the evil actions you did in front of others. The fifth is repetitive tasks. You could be condemned to perform repetitive tasks like carrying water, cleaning, or laboring without rest. And finally, the sixth one, eternal torture. It is said that you will be in eternal suffering without rest. Honestly, I think it's impressive that they are quite lenient with their punishments compared to other underworlds. Very well. We will travel a little bit to the west and the south. We're gonna go now to South America and visit Ucupacha, the Inca underworld. The ruler of this place is Supay, the god of the underworld. Supay, besides being associated with the land of spirits, is also linked with fertility, agriculture, and abundance. He is depicted as a being that exists both in life and dead, holding corn or plants in one hand and symbols associated with the dead in the other. The Inca underworld, Ucupacha, is not just a place, it's connected to the center of the earth. It is also known as a place of the hidden knowledge and the mysteries of the earth, representing the unseen. Ucupacha is linked with the cycles of life, death, and rebirth. Unlike other underworlds, Ucupacha is a realm connected with ancestors. There are rituals and practices to honor and communicate with them. It is also considered that at this point, nature and energies connect. The journey through the Ucupacha represents a cycle where a person's soul transforms or begins. It is believed that the underworld is a stop, just like the earth and the sky, and the three complete a circle. But let's start from the beginning. The definition of the word Pacha is commonly translated as world or realm. I'm pretty sure you have heard the word Pachamama, which could be translated as Mother Earth. The Incas believe in three worlds: Hanan Pacha, which is the realm above, the sun, the moon, the stars, the planets. This realm is inhabited by gods and goddesses. The second one is Kai Pacha. This realm, the realm of animals, humans, this perceptible realm that you can touch and feel. And finally, Ucupacha. Ucupacha is the realm of the underworld, the land of the dead, but it is also the realm of reincarnation. Incas don't really have a great description of Ucupacha, except that it is a place where ancestors reside, where the dead go to continue their existence. It is said to be very connected to this world, Kai Pacha. It is said that Supay, besides being the god of the underworld, he was also worshipped by miners to have him on their side while they were working. And it is also said that the Supay are a race of demons who play tricks on the living ones. And finally, just for the closure of this episode, we're gonna visit the Celtic mythology. In Celtic mythology, the god of the underworld is Donn. Sometimes the festival of Samhain, celebrated by the Celts, is associated with Donn. Samhain, later known as All Saints' Day, marks the end of the harvest season and the beginning of winter. And as we know, it is when the line between this world and the underworld becomes thinner. It is said that Donn has both benevolent and malevolent aspects. Although he is the god of the underworld, he does not have a negative connotation. In fact, he is usually depicted as protective and guiding. Unlike other beliefs or civilizations, the underworld of the Celts is not so well defined or delimited. There are Celt stories that tell of various realms related to the underworld or associated with islands. The Celtic world is a magical place, so to speak. They believe that many different beings inhabited this realm. They have 4 different realms. The first one is She. In this realm, you can find fairies, spirits, and other wonderful beings. The second one is Tirnanog, which translates as the land of youth or the land of eternal youth. In here, time passes differently. This land is associated with immortal beings and heroic stories. The third one is Anun. This is a realm of darkness and mysteries, ruled by the god Aroun. This area is associated with magical encounters, magical adventures, and fantastic stories. And finally, the fourth island or place is reincarnation. In this area, a being could reincarnate if necessary, returning as another human, as an animal, or a plant. As I promised, on this journey, we enjoyed a little bit more of the waters. Surprisingly, it was not as stormy as the previous ones. Alright, I think we're wrapping up this week's episode. This week, I want to leave you with a recommendation. There is a friend of mine on Instagram who is a musician. He's a horror rapper and a big fan of horror just like me. His name is Poltergeist OD. He just finished a song about Stephen King that I really like it a lot, and he's trying to get in touch with him so he can listen to his song. I hope we can help him out. I'll leave his Instagram and YouTube links in the description. I want to remind you that if you're an artist in the horror or mystery genre, I invite you to leave your social media links in the comments so I can check it out and also share your work. I would love to see new perspectives related to horror. I will leave my Instagrams in the comments in case you want to chat a little bit. I'm also going to be posting things related to the birthdays of the week and horror movies that I'm watching and a few things related to the show. I'll also leave the link of my very good friend Deadgun Showtime in the description in case you like Twitch. He's currently playing Battlefield 5, so feel free to drop by. He streams from Friday to Tuesday from around 9 p.m. Central Standard Time. Don't forget that this episode will be uploaded in Spanish in case you have a friend who doesn't speak English but is a horror fan and you want to share the show with him. I want to thank Repulsive for the music that accompanied this episode. I'll be here with all of you next Monday, and I want to thank you very much for tuning into 1999K Radio. Have a calm and chilly night, and remember, in the words of the great Disturbed vocalist David Draiman, sometimes the darkness can show you the light. Good night.